political show. We're going to be discussing the statement by Marjorie Taylor Greene calling out Israel's actions in Gaza as what exactly it is, genocide. And we need to discuss that is Mustafa Dinodi. You're welcome to the show.
Okay, yeah, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she's forging a path towards becoming president. She even makes me proud to wear MAGA hat again, because she's spoken, and I think she's spoken for the people. She's saying that this thing in Israel, what Israel is doing is a genocide. She's one of the first, but not only Republicans to speak out against this, to speak out against Trump's war hawk policies, which are related, like with Iran, and also to speak out about what's going on with Israel and Palestine. In the past, others have said that we don't need to be spending money on war. She said so too. We don't need to be spending money on Iran, and we're giving too much money to Israel. That's not the same as saying what Israel does is a genocide. But the MAGA faithful, including me, have been saying that all of these billions that America is spending is misspent because it needs to be America first, make America great again. But now she's going even further, because the MAGA base doesn't necessarily always say that what's going on with Israel and Palestine is a genocide. But she's coming out and doing something that you don't even see Democrats do. I think only one Democrat does it, a senator or a congresswoman, Rashida Tlaib, and she's of Palestinian descent. So, of course, she would say it's a genocide. So we have to give kudos to Marjorie Taylor Greene for being analytical enough and clear enough to see what everybody else sees. It's a genocide. And in line with that, I think Trump is smart, too, because Trump also said that he didn't say it's a genocide, but he said that clearly Palestinian women and children are starving, which contradicts what Israel and Netanyahu said. So what you're seeing within the MAGA movement is a smart, I think it's mostly smart and self-interested move to condemn Israel, because they don't want their name to be attached to a world, what's going to be recognized as one of the worst genocides anybody's ever lived through. Meanwhile, the Democrats are slipping. The Democrats are still in the hand of the AIPAC. They refuse to speak out against Israel. They refuse to say that what Israel is doing is a genocide. And they're even going within their own party. They have, what's the name of the guy, Mamdani, who's also says it's a genocide, and he's going to be the presumptive nominee for the Democrats. I mean, he's going to be the presumptive mayor. He should win. But even the Democrats are trying to find a way to get rid of him because of his pro-Palestinian stance. So other than Mamdani, it looks like the Democratic Party is lockstep within this Nazi genocidal hell that Israel is putting Palestine through. And they're letting a far right-wing party, the MAGA wing of the Republicans, look as if they're more humane than they are. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I quite agree with you. Now, this is a very bold statement, but I think she got fed up when she had Miranda Fine, actually makes it very irritating statements, denying the starvation and suggesting that Palestinians should starve away until hostages are released. I mean, that is ridiculous. And I think it was in response to this statement that she came out to condemn Israel's actions in Gaza as purely genocidal. And she has really broken from the Republican usual stance of being overwhelmingly supportive to Israel. And along with the likes of Thomas Massey, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens, I think she has joined them to criticize Israel's Gaza campaign.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And so this is a new thing. So what we're seeing now with what MAGA really is, I think Trump started MAGA just to manipulate people, but what it really is a conservative right wing. Yeah, the conservative right wing. They're anti-gay. They're anti. Their family values. They think they're anti-abortion. They think, which, whether you agree or not with it, is not the same as being anti-human. So the MAGA movement is conservative. I guess they believe in capitalism.
Yeah, moderately right.
Moderately right. But also, this is consistent with the right. Don't spend your money on foreign affairs, because one of the main markers of right-wing politics is a sort of internal myopic, self-interested isolationist movement, which is what they're doing. Now, whether you like that or not, one good thing about that is that usually far right wing does not equal imperialism. And it's funny because the liberal movement and the Democrats are now the imperial party. The Republican Party is right wing, sort of racist, but they're going internally. And their biggest issue now is their deportation. Let's go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Very smart woman. I see her running for president soon. She spoke out against Trump when he bombed Iran unilaterally. unilaterally and spoke out against Israel's aggression towards Iran. And I mean, doesn't matter what her motives are. Her motives is that it's not in America's interest, which is correct. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. And this her position, it creates an ideological fault line among the Republicans. If you look at it, who mostly continue to defend Israel blindly, and this could also, fuel openness to diverse foreign policy views within the Republican Party. There's going to be a lot of diverse policy, foreign policy views, and if you look at a statement also, it provides like a bipartisan cover, for using the term genocide, and it was a really bold statement. I just fear a bit of backlash from the likes of Marco Rubio, who are staunch defenders of Israel and members of the Grand Old Party as well. There will be backlash, certainly, but I think it was good. And like you rightly mentioned, it looks as if she's starting her way towards the White House with this kind of bold assertions.
Yeah, because number one, America actually does want to have a female president. It's just that you're not going to put in somebody like Kamala Harris, who is just locking stop with Biden. It's not just the color of her skin.
Yeah,
she's connected to the Democratic Party, which seems to be out of touch with human beings.
Sure.
Kamala Harris put a lot of black people, a lot of black men in jail when she was in office, and then all she ever did when they asked her questions about Ukraine and stuff was. That's all she does. She laughs when things are serious, not because she thinks it's funny, but because she's nervous. She doesn't have the charisma. Also, Hillary Clinton, out of touch with people. She was disdainful. But when you look at Marjorie, I hate to say this, I'm not supporting this idea, but when you look at someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you look like, oh, this is a woman. She cares about children. She cares about her family. She cares about culture. She tends to have a more feminine approach, which is hard-nosed. But Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton were like iron maidens who were almost like men. You get my point? But you look at Marjorie Taylor. You got sunglasses, blonde, pretty. So same, you can have a black woman. We need somebody like Michelle Obama who smiles and is friendly. You get my point? We want someone who has what I would call matriarchal qualities. When you look at Mrs. Obama, she looks more like a lady or things. But Hillary Clinton just looks like a woman in a suit trying to be a man. I'm serious. I know that what I think. People are going to hate me for what I'm saying, but I'm keeping it real. Politics is optics. But let's go back to Rubio. Rubio's problem is that he's unlikable. He doesn't have a smile. He doesn't smile. He's not a popular. He's just like, okay, it just has to go this way. So he doesn't have charisma. And also, he doesn't have popularity on his side. Everybody now agrees.
He's not popular.
Even Republicans agree that what's going on with Israel is too far. So if he sticks with Israel, that's going to be a losing playbook for him. Because Americans want to know is food going to get cheaper in our country? Things like that. As an aside, Trump is smart, though. Did you hear that Trump has gotten Europe to agree that 15% tariffs on European goods and 0 tariffs on American goods going into Europe? Trump is turning Europe into his bitch. You see that? And that's a good movement because that helps America. So now when Europeans bring their goods into America, the goods will be tariffed. But when we send goods to Europe, no tariff. And Europe agreed with the deal. So now, it's not good for Europe, and maybe it makes America look like a bully. But the thing is that what Rubio needs to realize is that Americans want to have a projection that we have power. It's not a projection of power when you say that whatever Israel tells us to do, we do it, whether it's in our interest or not. That's not a projection of American power. Last thoughts.
Yeah, basically, I'm just a little worried about two things. First of all, some of the Republican voter base may be disillusioned. Many of who rely on the party to take cue to form their views on foreign policy. Some of them may be a bit confused. And then some far-right nationalists can become more skeptical of aid to Israel. And then if you look at they already are. And if you look at some of the senior U.S. officials that use the term genocide, it may validate international legal discussions, to strengthen efforts at the ICC or United Nations to investigate war crimes against Israel. So those are two very key points that can fall out of this, basically.
Yeah. And even Trump is taking a lighter step because he did the bomb on Iran, but it was just for show.
Because he's beginning to talk about starvation as well.
Yeah. No, what he's doing is that Trump is a marketer. He's looking at the temperature. You know what I mean? When you look outside, what's the temperature? Oh, it's raining. Let me wear an umbrella. So
He's
the
a
temperature
showman.
outside is that people are getting tired of this shit. The whole world is beginning to rise.
Yeah,
A little bit, not rising enough. You've got Starmer saying that they want to recognize Palestine as a nation. That's once you recognize them, they'll still be bombing them, but at least it's a first step. So my belief is that it's because it's women and children, and it's on camera, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. Human beings are not going to allow this thing to go to full fruition. They're not going to allow this to be the absolute final solution for Palestinians. So now Trump has to be smart and jump in. The next phase will be when your enemy backs off, you have to watch what they do. The next phase, I think, is that Trump is just going to basically recognize Palestine, but Palestine will be a puppet government under the control of America and Israel. But that's better. That's better than killing Palestinian kids altogether. But they can't get away with doing that. So what they'll do is they'll back off, but then they'll do same thing with Black Americans. When Black Americans could vote and they couldn't be slaves, the president Nixon said, okay, we can't control Black people as slaves, so let's take cocaine to their neighborhoods and let them destroy each other with drugs. So what I'm saying is that the enemy is smart. So what they'll do is they'll give Palestine its freedom, but they'll have other plans to undermine Palestine. But for now, it will do as long as the violence reduces. Same thing with Iran. America didn't go to war with Iran, but you can best believe they're still trying to figure out ways to beat Iran one way or another. But for now, we'll just take the peace. What are your last thoughts?
Yeah, Israel should be held accountable for war crimes. I totally agree with that. And I think that Trump may not be able to protect them from that. Really. That's just my last thought.
All right. So take us out, Afolabi. Thank you very much. Good
It's been another brilliant political show. We've been discussing Greene's open statement condemning Israeli action over the Palestinians as being genocide, which is what it is really. And for Mustafa and myself, we'll be back again maybe sometimes next week. Bye for now.
All right, thank you. Take it off record and I'll keep talking to you. Just take